One long-standing point of contention in the Daybell-Vallow cases is where the trial should be held. Back in September, John Pryor successfully argued that the media coverage in Southeast Idaho has been so vast that there's no way he could choose from a jury pool in Southeast Idaho that would be fair. The judge agreed and moved the trial to Ada County. Now the prosecutor is back with a lot of documentation proving just how expensive that would be for both Madison and Fremont counties. They have a different plan in mind. Hey everybody, and welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. This is Katie Weaver. I'm here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Christy Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey everybody.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. There's nothing fancy for
it's
Tuesday.
It's actually 2/22/22.
That's right. It's also Taco Tuesday, so what am I saying? But yes.
Right. Agreed. Yeah, but it's 2/22/22. Crazy.
That's right. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, if I was a numerologist, I would have something to say about that. I'm not.
I know. Me neither. But yeah,
I'll have to see what the numerologists say. Yeah, that's kind of fun, though.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, how's it going?
Well, going pretty well. I'm glad we're here because we tried to record the show last night, and guess what?
Yeah, Tech said no.
Happening. Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm glad we're here. But it is literally Tuesday because we usually don't record. We usually record ahead, but
no, I know it's weird. It's great to be here, and it is kind of fun to be here on the day of the day. But yeah, and Tech is hanging in there with us this morning, so we're very glad for that. Funny how just a night's sleep somehow reset something.
Yes, somehow it did. So
yeah, glad for it. And the coffee is hot.
Yes, it is.
It needs to be important. Because with wind chill, it is well below zero outside.
It's so shitty, and it makes me so mad. We had good weather last week. We had like 40s and melting, and we're all joking like we should be wearing shorts. And then my son did wear shorts a couple days.
Yeah.
And now it's cold as shit, and we got snow twice.
Oh, I wore short pants all weekend. I know. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling this. The pigs are so mad. They're so mad about the cold that they refused to go potty this morning after breakfast. They both went straight to bed. And normally they go outside for a few minutes, and they were like, no, we're not. No, we're going back to bed. All right. Well, I mean, I feel you.
Pretty much what my dog said too. So
yeah. Not having it. Well, it could be worse. My daughter that's in Montana texted me this morning with a screenshot of her, her app on her phone, the weather app, and it was 24 below there. So, yeah. So I guess we'll take this and just hope it warms up someday.
Someday.
Well, this week has kicked off with all kinds of weird freaking crime, you guys. It seems like the last few weeks people have been beyond unhinged. And we've got a little of that today, and we've got some more Daybell family drama today. We've got all kinds of good stuff. So, Christy, I'm actually going to kick the mic right over to you for our missing person spotlight.
Okay.
Oh, are you wanting to do? I'm sorry, I forgot. You want to do WTF news first?
Okay. I was going to, yes.
Yes, let's do that then.
WTF news: a 14-year-old was arrested trying to hire a hitman to kill her ex-boyfriend on Valentine's Day.
Oh my God.
I know. And of course, we're not using any names. This is a child. However, scary that this kid thought this. But you know what? Rent-A-Hitman.com comes to the rescue yet again. Because if you know or don't know, Rent-A-Hitman.com is a site owned by someone who takes applications for renting a hitman and then sends those applications straight and directly to the police. And
Why would anyone think that a website that out in the open would be legit?
Right? I guess 14-year-old girls. I don't know, but what? Yeah, so apparently the website has prevented about 150 murders at this point. So
That's like the police asking people to bring their meth in to make sure that it's safe,
yeah, and then people actually doing
and people
it.
actually do, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. So this young lady was arrested. She has been bonded out, and a judge has ordered a psychological evaluation for her, which I think is very wise because it's concerning. However, if you ever know anyone, thinking of knocking someone off, be sure to refer them to rentahitman.com.
Oh, noted.
Yes. And with that, I'm going to send everything back over to you for the main case.
Well, in today's main case, we are back to some Daybell family drama. Back in September, this has been an ongoing conversation for a while. Of course, this is the trial of Chad Daybell and Lori Daybell, who Lori's dead children were found in Chad's backyard, as well as Chad's wife that was murdered, and they have a slew of charges. Lori's case is currently stayed because she has been found mentally unfit to sort of stand trial at this point. So we're just waiting for her to be all spiffed up and returned to court. But in the meantime, John Pryor, Chad's attorney, is doing his due diligence. And one of the things that he has done is back in September, he argued that there's no way that Chad and Lori could receive a fair trial here in Southeast Idaho. We're very small, and everybody knows all about this case. It has been really the talk of the town now for 2 years, and they're not wrong to think that it would be very hard to find impartial jurors around here, partly because Chad and Lori are were members of the Mormon Church, and this area is like something like 99.5% Mormon. And so, the LDS people in this area have a real opinion about these guys, making them look terrible, killing their children, violating their doctrine, lots of things. So there's a lot of strong opinions going on up in here. So initially, back in September, the prosecutor had argued that trying to move this entire case to another part of the state would be the trials, what we're discussing, would be a huge hardship on both Madison County and Fremont County because they are jointly trying this. And financially, it would be an enormous burden because
they jointly investigated too. So
yes, yeah,
so many people involved.
So many people involved, so many police officers from both departments that would have to go to Ada multiple times to testify, all of the transporting people, housing people. Very small police departments cut down to nothing because all of the officers are, on the other side of the state. Like there's a lot of problems that go along with this, besides just the prosecution having to leave for weeks at a time. Because they do, of course, think that this trial will last in excess of 8 weeks. Excess of 8 weeks, for Christ's sake.
I don't even know. Like, we've got to start training now, I think. Right. And thank God it's not a drinking game because we would be dead for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be...
We'll have to be taking like vitamin B12 shots or something. But right. Anyway, so back in September, those were the arguments. Basically, John Pryor saying it's just not possible to get a fair trial here. And the prosecutor agreed. He agreed. This was an interesting one because Pryor tried to violate the First Amendment with his defense here because he tried to subpoena local journalists, Nate Eaton and East Idaho News, Nate Eaton from East Idaho News, and their records. And you can't do that. It's not done. But immediately it's illegal. yeah, to make them testify. But what happened is that a bunch of journalism organizations stepped forward with their high powered attorneys and said, not happening. Not that East
Mm.
Idaho News necessarily needed their high powered attorneys. East Idaho News is owned by Frank Vandersloot, and Frank Vandersloot is a very well known local McMillionaire, that owns
Mhm.
big business. And like he could have held his own, I think, anyway. But they
Probably.
had all of this help that stepped forward and said, oh, yeah, no, we will not allow this. And eventually Pryor withdrew his subpoena. Now, he did cooperate with them in them sharing some data with him, which turns out when you ask nicely, maybe you could just get that without bringing the big guns.
Right, without trying to make journalists witnesses, which they're
Yeah.
not going to be.
Because what he was really trying to prove is that the media saturation around here just really makes it impossible in Southeast Idaho to get a impartial jury pool. And we have long stood offended that he did not try to subpoena us.
Right?
Obviously, we have covered this case, in to
More heavily
infinitum.
than anyone
Yeah,
else. If you go
yeah,
count our episode count of this case, it is well over 50 episodes.
yeah.
So
So thanks, John. I think this is just because we've made fun of you so much and you were paying us back. But
called
whatever,
him
it's
a pearl
fine.
clutcher one too many times.
Yeah, it's probably fine. Anyway, but
Probably.
so back in September, blah, 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 back in September, the judge agreed with Mr. Pryor and the prosecutor because he wasn't denying that they could not get a fair trial here. They decided they were going to move this trial to Ada County, which was an interesting thing because Christy had had a conversation with someone that we know who had someone who works in the Ada County courthouse who had sent out an email saying we aren't we aren't going to do that here. We aren't accepting this trial. We don't want it. It's not going to happen here. So then the judge says, okay, we're moving it to Ada.
Well, everybody knew that's where it would go. It's it's
Hmm.
the most densely populated part of the state, and that's saying something because most of Idaho isn't populated at
Yeah.
all. But the Boise, Nampa, Meridian area, that's the most people,
Yeah.
so it's the most likely to be able to get a jury pool that isn't totally saturated by this case.
Yeah. Well, and without going too far, you have to understand Idaho is an enormous state. Population wise, it's not. We're working on that. But as far as, land, it is. So I mean, they could have gone clear to northern Idaho, which would have been, well over 12
Almost.
hours from here.
Right.
Now, Boise is about 5 hours from here by car, or 4, depending on how you drive. But it's
In about
it's a
30 minutes by plane.
yeah, it's a
I've
pretty
done
good
that.
stint, to be
Mhm.
transporting all of your witnesses, all of your records, all of your well, defendants, all of your everything, all the way there. But
Right.
so that's what the judge said. We're doing it in Ada. And partly the reason he said that, he told the prosecutor, I do hear what you're saying, but you aren't showing me anything that proves that, this would be such a hardship. He's like, you can't just tell me that. So the
Well, they
prosecutor
had
went,
one of the local sheriffs testify, but they didn't actually have hard numbers.
yes, they brought but really no data. So I think that the prosecutor kind of went, all right, game on.
Mhm.
So both Lindsay Blake and Rob Wood both went to work and have now refiled asking the judge to reconsider that uh, ruling. And Christy, you absolutely predicted this back in November, or sorry, in September. You said, really believe that this will end up happening at the Fremont County Courthouse, that they're going to find a jury pool in another part of the state and bring them here and sequester them. That's exactly what the prosecutor is asking for now.
Yeah. So
So,
basically, and this is exactly what we said, that they would get a jury from Ada County
yeah,
and then bring them here and sequester them here,
yeah,
which I'm sorry for them.
right. I mean,
That's
it
kind
would
of sad.
suck to be on this jury 8 weeks of being brought to this side of the state and just living in a hotel and being sequestered. That would suck.
Yeah.
However, the cost savings are pretty
It's
phenomenal.
pretty stunning. Yeah.
So what the a prosecutor brought to the table this time was finally some cold hard proof of what they were saying. So they attached documents to the filing from Sheriff Len Humphreys. He's the sheriff of Fremont County. He said that it would cost, he estimates, an additional $269,000 to support the 10-week trial in Ada. So they're saying 10 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what they've projected out because they want to project out farther than what it will actually go. It's likely to go 6 to 8.
Yeah. So that is more than $250,000 for this little tiny county to shoulder.
I mean, it's a huge county geographically, but a tiny county by population.
Oh yeah, and that isn't even all of it. That includes 14 Fremont County personnel who would need to travel to Boise to cover everything from courtroom security to the transportation of Lori and Chad. That covers lodging, travel costs, food, and jail costs. But they anticipate that there would actually be quite a few more costs than that they can't really necessarily anticipate at this time. So that's kind of, that's the bare bones of it. It's $270,000.
They've never had to do this before, so of course they're guessing on a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and honestly, I mean, so he said if they just go to Boise to select a jury and just go to Ada to select a jury, he anticipates that will cost them about $53,000. Still, holy shit. But, it is what it is. I see a lot of people commenting on news stories about this. They're like, that's ridiculous. One woman said, no, we're not paying for that. The Daybells got themselves into this and they can get themselves out.
What? Well, that's not how the legal system works at all. So good luck with that.
Several people were like, what are you talking about? She's like, they're the ones that committed the crime. If they want to move it to another county, they'll just have to pay for that. Well, this is America, and that's not how our legal system works at all.
No, not at all.
However, the economic impact of the trial on the citizens is something that is supposed to be considered.
Yes.
So Madison County says, because most of the detectives, most of the police force that would be being called as witnesses would be coming from Madison County.
Right.
So Madison County says that they believe it would cost them $369,000. Yeah. So now we are well over $500,000 to move this entire trial to Ada County.
Right.
And again, this does not include clerks or other jury trial costs. This was the bare bones of what they could prove. So what they want to do, again, is go ahead, do jury selection in Ada, bring them to Southeast Idaho, and sequester them for the duration of the trial. I'm not so sure they won't get it, honestly. I mean, the economic impact, that's pretty steep.
Well, it is, and the judge is already looking at economic impact because the other thing you got to think about is that this is if the trials are held together. Because the other thing that's going to be ruled on soon is whether or not they're severed. And if they're severed and then they both happen in Ada County, times all these costs by 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But we know from things the judge has said that he's got concerns about the cost as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's very interesting. The part of this that's so interesting for me is that, I mean, if this actually goes to trial, I'm going to use a Idaho colloquialism. My dad used to always say, if this goes to trial, I will eat your hat.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's a thing, but it was a thing growing up. But I doubt that it will, but they're going to argue all of it and be prepared for it. I still think we're going to see plea deals. I really do. I don't think that they're going to go all the way.
Yep. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. A couple of the highlights of the prosecution's argument. One thing they said is that there's actually no case law providing evidence that a criminal defendant's right to a fair trial by an impartial panel of peers encompasses the right to try the case in a particular courthouse or courtroom.
Mm.
Basically, they're saying there's nothing that says that we can't do it this way because if it's better. They also said the economic benefits to the people of Fremont and Madison County outweigh any benefits for trying the matter in a single case in Ada County. But I agree, if they sever, I can't imagine. I
Mhm.
just can't imagine. So here's what's going to happen. On March 18th, they're arguing for both of those things. They are, John Pryor is arguing for a severance because basically he's saying, Lori is still not spiffed up and come back to court. This is impossible for me to prepare, not knowing what's going to happen. And we need to sever these cases now because this isn't fair to my client. And he's probably right at this point.
Mhm.
I hate to see it. I really hate to see it. But I suspect that unless we get some big news regarding Lori between now and then, that could happen. Uh, However, last week there was a closed door hearing for Lori regarding her competency, and there's now been a filing requesting physician's notes. So, of course, all of that is not public record because it deals with her HIPAA rights. But so there's a lot at play. So on March 18th, and we will stream all of it, they are going to be arguing for the sequester, for moving the trial back to Fremont and sequestering, as well as severing. So that should be quite the belligerent turd circus of court.
Oh, it's gonna be. I'm very interested to see where this goes because this is going to change the direction of everything.
Yeah.
Depending, maybe it will, maybe it won't.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
it's big doings. Hopefully, the judge actually rules, and they just keep having hearings to schedule a new hearing. It's a joke. It's time,
Well,
you know.
but he had asked before. He said, "I can't rule on the idea of bringing this jury in without hard numbers." Well, he's got hard numbers, and the hard numbers are
Hmm.
already out there. I mean, they're in the news, like so.
Hmm.
He's seen them. So hopefully, that is going to give us an opportunity to get a ruling on the day because, of course, he's already seen this information.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing to note on all of it is, guess who lives in Ada? John Pryor.
John Pryor.
Guess who doesn't live in Ada? Anybody else.
Anybody else?
Pryor is the only person who lives on that side of the state. The
Yeah.
entire rest of the prosecution, the other defense attorney now that Mark Means is out of the picture, they are all in Southeast Idaho. This
Yeah.
benefits Pryor more than anybody else.
Well, it does, and there's like the list of reasons to keep the trial here is huge.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want the big main belligerent turd circus to happen here,
Right?
but we'll see.
Yeah.
So there you have it. That's what's up with the Daybell case. And of course, we'll continue to keep our eyes on it and report anything that we hear. I've been poking around for some whisperings about any thoughts of Lori returning to Madison County Jail. Nothing. It's
Yeah.
deeply under wraps. We don't know a thing.
Well, what is it? Her 180 days are up on the 24th of March.
Oh yeah, about 4 weeks from today.
Yeah. So
I
then
think
they
it's
have
the 22nd, actually. It's 4
Is
weeks
it
from today.
okay? So they have to make another decision then at
Mhm.
that point about
We'll see.
extending or
Maybe,
releasing.
yeah, maybe that'll happen before then, considering that they were in court last week about it. And they're
Right.
requesting more notes from the physicians.
It will sure
We'll
speed
see.
things up if that happens.
For sure. Yeah. So, Christy, I'm going to kick the mic back over to you for a missing person spotlight.
Yes. Paola Miranda Rosa. I'm going to show you her picture. Maybe. You guys, technology and me have not been like super friendly this week. I don't know why. But that's okay. Because I'm going to show you her picture right now. There we go. This is Paola Miranda Rosa. She is missing out of Seminole County, Florida. And so she went missing on December 18th. She was hiking in a reserve. I know, does this sound familiar? Unfortunately.
Yeah.
She was at Wakiwa Springs State Park in Seminole County, Florida. And she was last seen actually swimming in the water. Now, scarily, as we all know, there are a lot of alligators, and there are a lot of alligators in this area.
Yeah.
So there have been about 100 volunteers and several different organizations have searched the state park trying to find her. Unsure of. I mean, her car was found abandoned there. Keys, wallet, phone are in it. Like, there's no indication that she's left the park at all. And so they've talked to a few hikers. There's just not a lot to pick up. Here's the interesting thing, though. The family is working with an organization called Peace River Search and Rescue. And they have developed a device that they say can detect bone frequency. And someone else, I can't find on their website where they describe this at all. But the family says, we're using a tool that picks up DNA frequency that is able to confirm whether or not she's here at the park.
Okay.
They're going to give us a specific percentage of whether she's in or not in the park as of today.
Wow.
Which I find
would have been useful in the Brian Laundrie incident.
Wouldn't it, though? And I'm going to learn more about this. I've done some research. I cannot find anything specific, but I am on the Peace River Search and Rescue website. And I'm going to reach out to them and just say, hey, can you give me a little heads up on what does this mean? Because this is huge. If this is a real thing that works, pretty revolutionary.
Absolutely.
So, of course, they're using dogs and drones. And, I feel like at this point they know that they are searching for her remains.
Sure.
Because there's no indication that she ever left the park.
Right.
But I just wanted to tell you her story.
Interesting.
And just tell you about what they're doing to find her. Very, very interesting. Oh, they've done underwater cameras as well. There were some tests. There were some results. They're awaiting results of some kind of testing that was done in the park on January 30th. We haven't heard the answer yet, and I think that may have to do with this bone DNA device. I don't know, but it's really interesting and something that could just absolutely revolutionize missing people in very difficult terrain like these state parks in Florida, or national parks in Idaho and Wyoming and Montana and all those places. So just very interesting, something to keep our eye on.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm very curious and excited to see if this is something that could change the tide.
For sure.
Well, cool. Well, guys, that is it. This is our Tuesday case. We will be back tomorrow for our regular Wednesday episode. We'll be back Wednesday night for case updates, and boy, are there a lot. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Yeah. The biggest of which is the body of Serenity has been found. We reported last week about little missing Serenity. Yet another 4-year-old gone missing at the hands of her parents, and her body has actually been recovered. So by tomorrow, we should have the cause of death. So that's pending, and her parents have now been charged with murder, and we'll have a lot more to say about that and a lot of other things. There's just a lot happening. So at any rate,
Kim Potter has been sentenced. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yes. We also have a brand new Patreon, so make sure that you go and check it out. We have one new episode and another one coming this week. So lots of fun stuff happening over there. That's True Crime Paranormal on Patreon. If you'd like to be a patron, we have a ton of extra episodes and stuff over there. So that's good. That's where it's at. So thank you guys so much for being here. Have a great day. You have been listening to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Take care.
Bye, everybody.